All right, I'm still in a fun mode. Trivia time again. I'll get to something serious next week, which is also next month. Maybe something about playing or writing or tricks on guitar. Anyway, this is just fun. I like trivia, especially musical trivia. And I learn things too when I'm doing this. Here's one. Some songs that were recorded and released on 2 different LPs in a row by top bands. There was No Time by the Guess Who. It was on Canned Wheat and American Woman. The second version was a big hit. First version had a reversed verse and a longer solo, but the second one was better. They made the right decision. Joe Walsh also recorded and re-recorded Turn to Stone. It was on Barnstorm and So What. Definitely the right decision again to do it twice. The Beatles did Revolution, first as an acoustic and then as a rock and shredding electric single. And boy, those were different versions. Taylor Swift re-recorded her entire catalog. So there's 2 different versions of each song. David Crosby did Laughing on If I Could Only Remember My Name, if I could only get the title right, and also the Byrds' 1973 reunion album. He wrote it while he was in the Byrds, and they never recorded it, but so that made sense, I guess. But his solo version with Jerry Garcia on Steel was a masterpiece. And he also wrote Why and recorded it twice with the Byrds. It was 45, and then a different version was a bonus track on the Younger Than Yesterday CD. Wasn't even on the album. Anyway, there's a variety. Neil Young has released the same version of Sugar Mountain as a 45 B-side 4 times, and it was never on a regular album. It was on Journey to the Past, a collection, and it was live on 7 or 8 different albums, different versions. That's pretty funny. Songs not on an album that has their title on it. Waiting for the Sun was a Doors album, but the song was on Morrison Hotel. Houses of the Holy was a Led Zeppelin album, but the song was on Physical Graffiti. Starless was an album by King Crimson, but the song appeared on their album Red, and it's the best song on the album. Well, okay, one more clip today, and fun time's over, and I'll get back to work next month. Happy New Year, and the snow's gonna melt, I promise. All right, we're up to part 3 of the Moody music. I like to calm down when I get too buoyant. Part 3 here. So I used to compile tapes, then CDs, streaming playlists now of Moody songs. A good way to keep track of them, especially like them in autumn. But pretty much anytime I get a little too bubbly, I come back down to earth with those. Some bands have a lot. Some just have 1 or 2, but say Ricky Lee Jones has Coolsville, Last Chance Texaco, Traces of the Western Slopes, and a killer live version of Walk Away Renee, of all things. Joe Walsh has Take a Look Around, The Confessor, Wolf, Ashes, The Rain and I, Giant Behemoth, quite a few Moody pieces. I really like that stuff. Neil Young, ooh boy, nice catalog there. A Man Needs a Maid, Expecting to Fly, Country Girl. One of my favorites is Will to Love. Don't Let It Bring You Down, Love in Mind, and even Graham Nash has Cold Rain, just one of the most staggeringly depressing songs ever. It's beautiful. And Stills has a lot, like 4+20, and many others. Daylight Again, Find the Cost of Freedom, but he has a bunch in there. Someone Manassas. That's a good album to check out in any case. David Crosby as well. Solo, duo, trio with CSN, CSNY, then CPR, then back to solo. He's got a million beautiful, depressing songs like Page 43 and Everybody's Been Burned. Carly Simon has a terrific number of very depressing, moody songs and super melodic, like Another Door, Haunting, and That's the Way I Always Heard It Should Be, which is amazingly moody and vibrant. Sheryl Crow has We Do What We Can. That's my favorite song on Tuesday Night Music Club. Next album, she had Home. And there's a couple more like Safe and Sound, Chances Are. I think Stevie Nicks might have written one of those, but they're very good and moody. Jeff Beck even and it's sometimes instrumental, sometimes vocal, but Where Were You, Diamond Dust, definitely Maybe, Love is Green, and Cosby Vendettas Lovers, a Stevie Wonder song. Terrific Moody work, and puts me just right in the wintertime. Dan Fogelberg has a million of them. Sketches, Souvenirs, Song from Half Mountain, Wisteria. Joni Mitchell has a whole streak of albums that are just, they just grab me. Court and Spark, Hissing of Summer Lawns, Don Juan's Restless Daughter in Hejira. Police and Sting have a surprising number of good Moody songs. Murder by Numbers, Fortress Around Your Heart, Secret Journey, Darkness. And for the ultimate in Moody songs, of course, the Moodies, the Moody Blues, especially Justin Hayward in particular. The Days of Future Past album has a whole segment called The Night. That's the part that includes Nights in White Satin and Breathe Deep, the Gathering Gloom. Love that stuff. There's individual ones like Elvis Costello's So Like Candy, written with Paul McCartney. Diana Krall has a couple of pieces, one written with Elvis Costello called Departure Bay, Letter to Hermione by David Bowie, Kiss the Flame by Jewel. Well, I'm going to go cheer up with the title song from Black Sabbath's first record, Bong, Bong.